Hi everyone. Yeah, I know you remember me. Gen X Mimi. We had some antics over the summer. I had some fun with my daughter and my grandkids, and the jokes about my daughter being, not getting $15 or whatever, those were all just played out, whatever. So on January 7th, my 31-year-old son Jason was robbed and thrown off a bridge, and I was 16 when I got pregnant with him, and I gave up my life to be his mother. So, in a way, he saved my life, but I couldn't save his. The very next day, his 28-year-old sister, my only daughter, had open heart surgery because she was born with aortic valve stenosis. And I know I told you all before that she was an addict. She didn't die from the drug addiction. She had a valve replacement, and pretty much what the coroner said was that her body rejected the valve and that her heart was full of infection and they should have never did the valve surgery in the first place. My daughter called me over that day. She was at this girl that I raised house, Angel, she calls me mom. She was my daughter's best friend. She was exactly a month older than my daughter. And she got my daughter off the streets and talked her into coming and spend the night with her. They called me the next day and they're like, Mom, can you bring us Sammy's meds and, some clothes and stuff for her? So we get there and my daughter's eating ice cream. She's talking to us and she'd been having what we thought were seizures or strokes off and on lately. Well, she had 3 that day, and I brought her out of the first 2. And the last one, I gave her rescue breaths till 911 came. And they worked on her for like 45 minutes in her sister's bedroom. And I worked as a nurse for years, so I know that when they do chest compressions for more than 5 minutes, they're not coming back. So she pretty much died in my arms that day, leaving behind those 2 kids that are in all these videos with me, and all these antics, and it was all faked, and it was all for fun, we thought. I called my daughter a trick asshole over the summer, and it was a joke. She was in on it all. Like, there was no harm, no foul. It's all play. She was in a few of my videos, so you guys got to see her. But my son Jason, you never got to meet him. He was so full of life, and he was the most kind, caring person you'd ever meet. He graduated from Catholic school with honors. He didn't need to be beat and thrown over a bridge to be robbed, because he would have just handed over his money. He would have said, "Don't hurt me, just take my money." And 17 days I lost both my only 2 children. And I don't feel like making videos anymore. I don't know how my grandkids feel like making videos anymore. And we hadn't really made any since the kids lost their other uncle over the summer. So my grandkids, in like 4 months' time, lost both their uncles and their mother. So there will probably be no more Gen X Mimi. I'm not sure if we had too many fans to begin with. Some of our videos were a little bit raunchy and, whatever, maybe to some of you. But we had a lot of fun making them. And where I live, the community really came together to, help raise money for my kids' funerals, and my son's still in the frozen water somewhere. His body's not been recovered yet. It's been almost a month. And I just had my daughter cremated on Wednesday. I haven't got her ashes back yet. But she was my baby. She was everything to me. And I had tried so hard for years. I'd sent her to so many rehabs. She's been in and out of jail, and those kids never gave up hope one time that their mom would be there. She always loved them. She did. She truly did. She played with them, and we had so much fun together, but they never gave up hope that they were going to go back to live with their mom someday, and they wouldn't have to live with Mimi anymore. I'm not really how do you deal with losing both your kids in 2 weeks? Let me tell you, it hasn't been easy. I've been wearing my son's hoodie and my daughter's sweatpants. I can't even tell you how long. I didn't know broken heart syndrome was a real thing until a nurse told me I had it. And then I was in shock. And my grandkids are now in grief counseling, and I don't know that they'll ever be the same. And I know I'll never be the same. Like, Jason was half of my heart, and Sammy was the other half of my heart, and I just feel so empty inside. And I just hope that if you have kids, that just make sure you tell them every time you see them how much you love them, and you give them a hug, because you never know when the last time you're going to see them again is. Jason never got married. He never had kids. He was 31. He wanted to get married and have kids. Just, he wanted a career first, and that was just something that I always wanted for him, and he always wanted for himself when we talked about it all the time. And, I know all our little crazy antics and everything. We never mentioned my son, Jason. He was never around, really. But my daughter and her kids were in all the videos that we did over the summer, and were all pretty much directed and produced by my 9-year-old granddaughter Cammie, like every one of them, except for the ones without the kids in them, where I would lip sing, 80s songs or whatever. I was just trying to find time to fill up the time that they weren't here. My daughter or the kids or my son. And, it's just, I don't know. I just don't understand any of this. And I do love all my fans. If I did have any, a few here and there I seen, but I do want to thank you guys all who did watch our videos and liked them and commented on them, but I don't know. Maybe down the road when the kids are done grieving and we'll all get our closure and our justice, and maybe there'll be more videos, and maybe they won't be so raunchy and cheesy. I don't know, but I just want to thank you all for watching our videos, and just let you know that life's really short. And my daughter was born with a heart problem, and she was told as a teenager that she outgrew it. Apparently she didn't. And I feel like that my daughter was too big for this world, and that my son's light was too bright for it, because he was one of the greatest guys you'd ever meet. Sweetest kid ever. If you said, "Hey, Jay, I like that hoodie," he took it right off his back and gave it to you. Like the people that robbed him on the bridge and threw him over, all they would have had to do was say, "Can I have that money?" And he would have said, "Take it. It's money. You can't take it with you when you go." And he made money. So he didn't care about money. He would have just got more. They didn't need to hurt him. We don't know who did it. We don't know anything about it. And the police I've talked to twice in almost a month, they're telling me absolutely nothing. I learned more about my daughter's death, and she just died Saturday, and today's Saturday. She's been dead a week. And I've talked to the coroner twice, so I know more about how my daughter died. These growths on her heart, vegetation growths that were on her heart, her brain, and all this stuff. I know more about all of that than I know about what happened to my son. And she signed herself out of the hospital early after having valve replacement surgery to look for her brother. And she walked the streets in Pennsylvania in the snow and in the cold, trying to find out who did that to her brother. Because my kids were so close. Like, there was no Jason without Sammy, and there was no Sammy without Jason. So I cremated my daughter the other day. And when my son's body is found in the water, I will cremate him and I will hold their funeral together. But there will be no funeral for Sammy and Tim. I can't do one without the other. They belong together. They were always together all their lives. And in reality, they're mine and they belong to me and they belong with me. And I've told y'all a million times that we're Eminem fans. This house is an Eminem house. Like, we've been in Detroit. So the only song that I can think of to play, like, when I think of Jay, I think of Kenny Chesney, Who You Be Today. But we have a couple of songs that, and we might do a couple videos to try to remember them by, but thank you guys so much for everything. Just keep Sammy and Jay in your prayers.